The generals have spoken. Zimbabwe's military establishment reaches consensus, and June 6 muri Zimbabwe is the deadline. Alright, tiripo pano pamzinda wevanhu. Nhasi uno iri Monday, May 25th, 2026. And yesterday morning, a statement began circulating in Zimbabwe's political underground that by the time most people had finished their breakfast, had already changed the conversation in every barracks, every party office, every diplomatic mission, and every state house corridor in the country. A retired general who fought for Zimbabwe's independence, who helped orchestrate the 2017 coup, who knows every corridor of the military establishment that runs this country, has gone public. And what he said is not a complaint. It is not a grievance. It is not opposition politics. It is a deadline, a date, a line in the sand with a specific calendar date attached. June 6th, 2026. Anabev. That is the day Zimbabwe finds out whether its political transition happens the constitutional way or the other way. Right, pano pamzinda wevanhu, we are going to break it all down right now. So inzwai munzwa, meet General Gok, the man behind the moniker. Before we get into the statement, let us establish who we are talking about, because General Gok is a moniker, a pen name, and the military veteran behind it is someone whose credentials in Zimbabwe's power architecture are absolutely unimpeachable. The name connected to General Gok is retired Lieutenant General Engelbert Rugeje. And if you do not know that name, you need to know it now. Rugeje joined the Zimbabwe African National Liberation Army as a teenager at 16, taking the war name Sanbat, and rose through the ranks of Zanla to become a member of the movement's general staff. This is a liberation war veteran in the truest, most unassailable sense. A man who was in the bush before most of today's politicians were born. In the 2017 coup, Rugeje was a central figure. After the coup's success, he was promoted from Major General to Lieutenant General upon retirement and appointed as ZANU-PF's National Political Commissar, one of the most powerful positions in the party structure, equivalent to organizing secretary. Zimbabwe. And then, because Zimbabwe never gives you just one plot twist, Rugeje became a target. Reports emerged of a plot against him connected to what insiders called the silence of the generals, or the 23rd patch, an alleged conspiracy by wealthy businessmen and political figures to marginalize Chiwenga and eliminate Rugeje as a means of further isolating the vice president. Rugeje reportedly increased his security detail after a past attack on his home resulted in fatalities among his security officers. This man was allegedly attacked, a target for elimination because of his loyalty to Chiwenga, and he is still here, still writing, still speaking, under a pen name that has now been connected to him by multiple intelligence-aligned sources. Oh. General Zimbabwe. Right, in why? The man who survived an alleged assassination plot because he supports the wrong person is now publicly calling out the people who supported that plot. The audacity, the absolute irony, iron-willed liberation war hardened audacity. Now, let us talk about what General Gok actually said, because every word is precise, calculated, delivered with the economy of a man who has spent his life understanding that in warfare, verbal or otherwise, every syllable has a purpose. The first bombshell. Mnangagwa was always meant to be transitional. The generals who engineered the 2017 coup did not remove Mugabe to install a new permanent ruler. They removed Mugabe to install a bridge, a steady hand to manage the immediate fallout, a known quantity who could navigate the diplomatic crisis, stabilize the economy, and create the conditions for a smooth handover to the men who actually moved the tanks, Constantino Chiwenga. As one senior analyst with access to military sources put it, the military did not invest in the coup to have a civilian wing of ZANU-PF rewrite the rules at the last minute. The deal was always that Mnangagwa steadied the ship and then Chiwenga took the wheel. By pushing Cap 3, by seeking to extend his own term, remove direct elections, and potentially run to 2033 without a referendum, Mnangagwa did not just break a constitutional rule, he broke the foundational agreement of the Second Republic itself. The second bombshell. The consensus has been reached. Closed-door meetings, serving provincial commanders, retired generals, party elders, all in the room, all discussing the same question and all arriving at the same answer. Mnangagwa's faction is crumbling, the military's patience has expired, and the timeline for transition has been finalized. Chiwenga has secured the backing of key provincial chairs, including Mashonaland Central, Midlands, and Masvingo South. War veterans who feel economically abandoned and politically sidelined have been reactivated and reconnected to the Chiwenga network. Chiwenga has been systematically consolidating military loyalty over the past year, with key appointments confirming his grip. ZNA Commander Lieutenant General Ansela Msanyeto was in Chiwenga's wedding committee. Air Force represented by Chiwenga ally retired Air Marshal Sheba Shumbaya Wonda. Military Intelligence Directorate represented by its commander at the wedding. The wedding itself was described by insiders as a political statement and endorsement of Chiwenga's power ambitions. A wedding used as a military alignment ceremony. Zimbabwe, family, we contain multitudes. The third bombshell, June 6th, is the headline. The upcoming presentation of Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 in Parliament on June 6, 2026 is not a legislative milestone. It is a trigger point. If the executive attempts to force the bill through to extend presidential term limits, the military is prepared to move forward with the immediate political removal of Mnangagwa. June 6th, circled in red in every general's mental calendar. Let's talk about Chiwenga's silent chessboard, the most dangerous game in Southern Africa. While Mnangagwa was flying to Russia, Belarus, and Azerbaijan, of it all on 500,000 luxury jets, Azerbaijan, Chiwenga kaenda koko. But let's talk about this. Chiwenga was doing something far more strategically lethal. He was going to the provinces, quietly, systematically, building a coalition that does not require Twitter followers or press conferences to function. This is not a social media campaign. This is not a parliamentary motion. This is the architecture of a transition being built brick by brick in rooms that do not have cameras. A devastating May 2026 analysis by Nehanda Radio concluded the quiet Cold War between President Mnangagwa and his estranged deputy Chiwenga has mutated from a managed factional squabble into an existential battle for ultimate survival. A series of seismic developments spanning legislative maneuvers, high-stakes military appointments, and raw displays of patronage capital have profoundly disrupted the succession matrix. This is now under radio, right? Existential battle for ultimate survival. That is how Zimbabwe's most credible military and political analysts are describing what is currently happening inside the ruling establishment. And Mnangagwa has been fighting this battle with the wrong weapons. He removed Lieutenant General Ansela Msanyeto, a Chiwenga ally, as ZNA commander, and replaced him with General Emmanuel Matatu. He replaced the ZDF Commander General Sibanda with Matatu. He has been systematically trying to install loyalists at the top of the military command. But here is the problem with that strategy. You can replace the commanders. You cannot replace the loyalty networks that were built over decades of shared service, shared ideology, and shared understanding of what the 2017 coup was actually for. The generals who moved the tanks in 2017 did not do it for Emmerson Mnangagwa personally. They did it for a transition. And when the beneficiary of that transition tries to make himself permanent, the people who made him possible have every ideological and institutional justification to unmake him. You cannot fire your way out of a military consensus that you broke a deal with. Right. Meanwhile, South Africa is also on fire. While Zimbabwe's military is drawing June 6th lines in the sand, the regional context is simultaneously exploding in ways that connect directly to everything we have been covering on this channel. The Palapala scandal, the case of the $580,000 cash stuffed inside furniture on Ramaphosa's farm has taken a turn so bizarre it would be rejected as a plotline on a South African soap opera. Right. Explosive new intelligence is suggesting that the cash hidden at Palapala may not have come from a Sudanese buffalo buyer as originally claimed, but was allegedly funneled from controversial Zimbabwean businessman Wicknell Chivayo. Wicknero Chivayo again. Chivayo again, Mure Zimbabwe. This man, who appeared at the Kwekwe Farm helicopter visit, who is under South African Hawks investigation for money laundering connected to Zimbabwe's 2023 election procurement, whose brother is a wanted gold smuggler who skipped bail, whose own assets were frozen by a Gauteng High Court, who called Ritendo Matinyarare stupid on Jim audio while accidentally not denying gold dealing, whose name appears in every single chapter of Zimbabwe's financial scandal story, is now being connected to the cash inside the South African president's sofa. Right? At some point, you have to ask, is this one man or is this a franchise? If the Chivayo Palapala connection is confirmed and South African impeachment committee proceedings are apparently moving forward, the implications for Zimbabwe are enormous because it means the most senior level of South African executive politics has been financially entangled with the network around Mnangagwa. And Ramaphosa, who visited Mnangagwa's farm, who flew on a helicopter with Chivayo, who owned both Mnangagwa and Chiwenga privately, that SADC would not tolerate another coup, has his own credibility crisis on his hands. The regional referee has a yellow card being waved at him, and the match in Zimbabwe is about to reach extra time. Right, the bottom line, Mure Zimbabwe, June 6th is the date Zimbabwe must remember. Right, let us land this broadcast with absolute clarity about where we are. Today is May 25th. June 6th is 12 days away. In those 12 days, the Constitutional Court is still deliberating on judgment, 7 judges, 2 cases, 1 question about whether a president can chair his own constitutional self-extension. Parliament opens, CAB 3 faces its first reading, every Chiwenga-aligned provincial chair, every War Veteran Association branch, every retired general with a pen name and a social media account is watching that specific date. And now, a retired lieutenant general who helped engineer the 2017 coup, who was allegedly targeted for assassination because of his Chiwenga alliance, who took a war name as a teenager and spent his life understanding when the moment to act has arrived, has told Zimbabwe publicly, June 6th is the line. Mnangagwa spent the Second Republic telling everyone he would retire in 2028. Chinamasa went on Citizens Voice Network and told him that if he dares to keep that promise, ZANU-PF will expel him. Ziyambi announced there would be no secret ballot. The Constitutional Court blocked the cameras. The sugar tax bought 2 cancer machines out of $30 million collected. The jets flew to Dubai at midnight. The gold questions remain unanswered. And now, a general with Liberation War credentials whose home was attacked, who has been inside this system since before most of us were born, has looked at all of it and decided June 6th is the day Zimbabwe finds out which version of its future it gets. Pano pamzindo wevanhu tichange tiripo every single day between now and then and every day after. Subscribe pamzindo wevanhu, Zimbabwe's most fearless and most entertaining political voice. Do you think the military will act on June 6th if CAB 3 is tabled? Is this the real transition moment or another bluff? Drop your most explosive take in the comments, smash the like button, share this everywhere, and support independent journalism through join, super thanks, or stars. June 6th is 12 days away. Zimbabwe, stay ready. Thank you for watching. Peace.